Shalom family. I would like to share something that happened to me that I feel the Most High YAHUAH has directed us to share with you. One day, a couple of weeks ago, something I heard or saw brought to mind a movie I watched when I was way younger to come to mind. Whatever the thing was, it was not directly related to the movie, but nevertheless, it caused me to think about that movie. I didn't spend a lot of time thinking on this movie, nor did I mention, talk about, or say anything about this movie to anyone. Well, shortly after, this same movie popped up in my feed on a social media platform. I was kind of shocked when I saw it because, like I said, I didn't mention or say anything about it. I just thought about it for a brief moment. This made me feel a little uncomfortable, but I shouldn't have been surprised by this. Check this out and you will see why I say this.
Will we one day be able to just pop in our AirPods and send a text message with our thoughts? Well, according to Apple, yeah, that's the plan. This is a patent Apple filed for all the way back in January of 2023. AirPods with electrodes on them that can read brain activity. So in other words, an EEG, but it's through the ear. This is actually the direction that a lot of smartphone companies and tech companies are moving towards. Wearable brain-computer interfaces. Whether it's a wristband or earpiece or some glasses, that's the pipeline. Of course, privacy gets crazy here because what's more intimate than your literal thoughts? But there's actually already a lot of great existing literature on privacy and brain-based data and how we could get this right if we are to go down that path. But again, you can start to see how our future is going to have less and less of that screen-based device in our pockets.
Apple just applied for a patent so that they can retrofit AirPods to read your mind. Or they didn't apply, they filed a patent. So what it is AirPods, they're fitting them with like electromagnetic sensors. And you guys remember when we talked about they could hook a like brain machine up to a person and they could look at something and they could use AI to generate the picture.
Yeah.
So that technology, rather than a full helmet, they have successfully mapped via sensors in AirPods. They've successfully done the same thing. What they said was reading in neuroscience.com or something like that. I was reading an article and it said what they're able to do is read that sensor, and they said everybody's electromagnetic pulses are different. And so it's not just an immediate read what you're thinking and then regurgitate it. It's a process of learning. And so they mine and log all of the thoughts, all of the pulses. And
Are these in the current headphones?
They may be testing stuff, who knows?
But they said, the article I found said they did it successfully 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, tonight we turn to news in one specific way that artificial intelligence technology is changing our world, and it is absolutely remarkable. Current medical technology can gather rich information about brain activity. We knew that. But now, artificial intelligence language models are providing a new breakthrough to interpret that brain information. New research shows that the tech can help read people's private thoughts, that the science plus the tech enables mind reading. Let me say that news again, because sometimes around here we just report the news, we run right through it, and you kind of need to realize what we're learning. And I'm going to show you exactly what we mean by this, but researchers are accurately performing some human mind reading. They can translate a person's brain activity into a continuous stream of text. So then that text corresponds to what the researchers can determine people are thinking. And this is from formal results from a research team at the University of Texas at Austin. Now, the new option raises all kinds of possibilities. One of the first is a medical priority, that this can enable people who are currently paralyzed or completely physically impaired to basically get a brand new lease on communicating. The researchers focused on picking up attempted speech of people who have lost the ability to speak, or using these tools to help paralyzed people, in a sense, write by thinking of writing. So the tech is using scans of brain blood flow, and it basically trains this translator or this decoder of that brain information. And they do this by having participants consume videos to map their reactions and basically the intended words their brain would pick about what they're seeing. The researchers are using the brain data to become this translator of the subject. And this has successfully used brain activity to accurately describe events from the videos, meaning it works. They're doing this. So the stuff in your brain that drives you to pick a word, that's kind of what happens before the word, can actually be now read through these sophisticated artificial intelligence language models, hence mind reading. Now, this is a dazzling actual, applicable type of technology that's here right now. Scientists see a potential to give a voice to the voiceless, like those paralyzed individuals I just mentioned. Others look down the road, especially at how fast this is going, and they see the prospect of a powerful and invasive technology here. And let's remember, I mentioned this earlier in the show, the power of mind reading has long been a sci-fi fascination, upending society to the idea that if you could read minds, the government would have huge tools of potential control. Like that famous Tom Cruise movie, imagining a government that can solve and then prevent crimes by reading people's minds and plans in advance.
What's coming? Double homicide, 1 male, 1 female. Killer's male, white, 40s.
Set up a perimeter and tell them we're en route. I'm placing you under arrest for the future murder of Sarah Marks.
All we have to run on are the images that they produce.
We see what they see. There hasn't been a murder in 6 years. There's nothing wrong with the system. It is perfect. I agree. We are arresting individuals who have broken no law.
But they will.
The fact that you prevented it from happening doesn't change the fact that it was going to happen.
That was a movie. But back here in reality, this new tech is already raising what we might call non-fiction questions. New York Times is proposing scenarios like a future where a private, unvoiced impression of your best friend's new partner could be seized. Someone could listen in on it without your consent or knowledge. Or as with those movies, a police state where authorities could eavesdrop on your mental state without your consent, as Vox put it. When you look, Zeke, at these...
Is it me? Or remember when you talk about stuff? Whatever it may be. Say you're talking about cars, and then you go on your social media and adverts of cars and everything come up. These days, I don't know if any of you get the same thing, but I'm sure you must do. But all I have to do is think certain things, and then I open up my social media, and what I was thinking is there. It's happened it happens so many times. It freaks me out. If they got some kind of technology that can read your brain, I'm guessing I know in the future that's gonna happen. I guess we're gonna have like a probe in our head or whatever. I don't know. But currently we haven't. And yet every time I think of things and I open up my phone, whatever I think about is there. That's heavy, man. It's pretty good because I always forget stuff. So when I open my phone, whatever I'm thinking of, I go, oh, right, yeah. That's the only good thing about it. Apart from that, spooky. Anyway, does it happen to you?
Hey, now this is wild. Meta now has new technology that can literally read your brain and doesn't need to scan it to do it. Just you being in front of the video, it's going to be able to understand and predict your brain activity more and more. And they call this new technology TRIBE, which stands for Temporal Representation of Internal Brain Engagement. So TRIBE is a really fancy way of saying reading your brain, so it knows how to effectively create ads. Look, we're going to see a place where almost all ads are going to be AI. And you're probably saying there, I don't want to see these. That's what we say, but what we do is different. We accept and we respond to AI content all the time. And social media has trained us to do this for the last 15 years. So what are we supposed to do? Here, we need to become informed. This is why I want you to come to
Brain signal mapping, guys. They just released a paper with an LLM that shows an 85% accuracy in predicting emotional responses from brain signals while watching content. This is what we will see. 20 years ago, we had a writer who would, create a script, you pick an actor, and then you watch this movie, and then you feel things. But this is what's gonna happen now. Your brain is going to signal intent. AI is going to map patterns. It is going to then write the script of the movie or the content. The content is gonna be generated. You're literally going to be watching yourself and then becoming it. I hope you guys are with me on this one. Your brain signals are coming and turning into patterns in an algorithm that will be writing the script that will then generate the content that you watch, that then you perceive and project meaning onto and end up becoming through watching it.
It seems that it will be unreal that there is technology that can read your thoughts and even monitor what you are saying for whatever the reason, but it is real, and it's been around for a while. You've probably experienced this before. You mention something, maybe a product or a company, and suddenly you see an ad for it on your computer or phone. It may have made you feel uncomfortable. Maybe you didn't notice, or maybe you are used to it. Either way, we need to share some things.
Through the incident mentioned earlier, the Most High YAHUAH revealed a message, or better yet, a warning that is necessary for these times we are living in. This warning is that we have to be watchful of our thoughts and guard our hearts now more than ever. It would also be helpful to keep our minds on the right things so that this wicked technology doesn't cause any unnecessary hardships in our lives, such as being used against us. We cannot forget that we are living in the last days, and there are things that we are seeing and experiencing that have not been seen or experienced in any other time. Wickedness and lawlessness continues to increase as Scripture says, so we ought to be sure that we are doing everything that Yahuwah is leading us to do. Time is moving quickly, and Yahuwah's judgment is here with more to come, so let's ensure we're living as He desires. It is time that all who call themselves believers of Yahuwah get and keep their thoughts and hearts on the things of Yahuwah and His reign. We must do as Shaul wrote to Timotheus. Do your utmost to present yourself approved to Yahuwah, a worker who does not need to be ashamed, rightly handling the word of truth. Timotheus 2:15. One of the things we have to do to keep us in the right place is get rid of all thoughts that are not aligned with the Most High YAHUAH. These types of thoughts can be called negative, impure, bad, evil, wicked, etc. For the sake of this video, we will be referring to these types of thoughts as wrong thoughts.
Keeping or entertaining wrong thoughts can be dangerous for many reasons. Hakma, Shalomah, chapter 1, verses 1 through 3. Love righteousness, ye that be judges of the earth. Think of Yahuwah with a good heart, and in simplicity of heart seek him. For he will be found of them that tempt him not, and shows himself unto such as do not distrust him. For froward thoughts separate from Yahuwah, and his power, when it is tried, reproves the unwise. The word froward means difficult, ornery, habitually disposed to disobedience, stubbornness, and opposition to what is right. It describes a mind that is perverse, deceitful, contrary, and rebellious against Yahuwah's commands and guidance. If your thoughts are froward, you will be separated from Yahuwah. Additionally, they can hold one captive and cause a rise in powerful and painful emotions. Wrong thoughts can cause people to become paralyzed, preventing them from being able to discern reality and or truth, and can even hinder their ability to be led by the Ruach HaKodesh. These thoughts come from or are rooted in sinful behaviors like worry, anxiety, and a lack of trust in the Most High YAHUAH. That is why we have to be mindful and watchful of the thoughts we entertain. Side note, entertain means to keep up, maintain, to keep someone in a certain frame of mind. Enter, from entry, among, from Latin enter, I-N-T-E-R, among, and tain, from tenir, T-E-N-I-R, to hold, from Latin tenir, from Proto-Indo-European root ten, which means to stretch. When someone entertains something, it means they keep, hold, or maintain in their mind with favor. They reserve in the mind, harbor, or cherish it.
Some thoughts are not of Yahuwah, and that can cause people to make the wrong decisions or do wrong actions, meaning doing things Yahuwah doesn't want us to do or doing things he never told us to do. Also, When you meditate on these wrong thoughts, you may give place to it, and the more you meditate on it, the deeper it gets inside. This brings us to a very important point, and that is, if you are entertaining wrong thoughts, then it is time to go to battle. Qorin'tiyims 1:10-4-6. For the weapons we fight with are not fleshy, but mighty in Yahuwah, for overthrowing strongholds, overthrowing reasonings, and every high matter that exalts itself against the knowledge of Yahuwah, taking captive every thought to make it obedient to Hamashiach, and being ready to punish all disobedience when your obedience is complete. Kepha 1:1-13. So prepare your minds for action. Be completely sober in spirit, steadfast, self-disciplined, spiritually and morally alert. Fix your hope completely on the favor of Yahuwah that is coming to you when Yahusha HaMashiach is revealed. Listen to what this scripture says about thoughts that are wrong. Marcos 7:21-22. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil reasonings, adulteries, whoring, murders, thefts, greedy desires, wickednesses, deceit, indecency, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness.
It says that out of the heart proceeds evil reasonings, which is another way of saying evil thoughts. Let us put it another way. Thoughts arise from the heart. When you look up the word heart, you will find that the heart denotes the center of all physical and spiritual life. It is also the soul or mind, as it is the fountain and seat of the thoughts, passions, desires, appetites, affections, purposes, endeavors of the understanding, the faculty and seat of the intelligence. This shows that at times the heart is interchangeable with the mind and is used in place of the mind. Because your thoughts come from the heart, you have to guard your heart. Mishl刈y 4:23 says, "Watch over your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life." So now we come to the part of the video where we discuss how to get our minds and hearts in a place where we stay ready for Mashiach's return and keep us in the safety of Yahuwah's covering. Replace the wrong thoughts with the truth of Yahuwah's word. This may include meditating on the word and renewing your mind. Romiyim 12:2 says, "And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you prove what is that good and well-pleasing and perfect desire of Yahuwah." Speak to the thoughts and don't give them a peaceful place to stay. Be cautious about what you allow in your ears and eyes. In Matthew 5:28, Yahusha gives an example of a sin of the eyes. Yahusha says, "But I say to you that everyone who so much as looks at a woman with lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart." Lucas 21:34 says, "But be on guard so that your hearts are not weighed down and depressed with the giddiness of debauchery and the nausea of self-indulgence and the worldly worries of life. And then that day, when Hamashiach returns, will not come on you suddenly like a trap."
Keep your mind and focus stayed on Yahuwah first and foremost. Marcos 12:30. "And you shall love Yahuwah your Yahuwah with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. This is the first command." Yaakov 1:7-8. "For such a person ought not to think or expect that he will receive anything at all from the Athan, being a double-minded man, unstable and restless in all his ways, in everything he thinks, feels, or decides." Pray about everything and rest in Yahuwah. Pilippiym 4:6-7. "Do not be anxious or worried about anything, but in everything, every circumstance and situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, continue to make your specific requests known to Yahuwah. And the peace of Yahuwah, that peace which reassures the heart, that peace which transcends all understanding, that peace which stands guard over your hearts and your minds in Mashiach Yahusha is yours. Keep your mind on things above. Pilippiym 4:8. For the rest, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is righteous, whatever is clean, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good report, if there is any uprightness and if there is any praise, think on these. Qolasim 3:1-2. Therefore, if you have been raised with Mashiach to a new life, sharing in his resurrection from the dead, keep seeking the things that are above, where Mashiach is, seated at the right hand of Yahuwah. Set your mind and keep focus habitually on the things above, the heavenly things, not on things that are on the earth, which have only temporal value.
Don't look back. Keep your thoughts on that great expectation. Yeshayahu 43:18. Do not remember the former things or ponder the things of the past. Titos 2:11-14. For the saving gift of Yahuwah has appeared to all men, instructing us to renounce wickedness and worldly lusts, and to live sensibly, righteously, and reverently in the present age, looking for the Baruch expectation and esteemed appearance of the great Eluah and our Savior, Yahusha HaMashiach, who gave himself for us to redeem us from all lawlessness and to cleanse for himself a people, a possession, ardent for good works. In closing, let's make sure we keep our thoughts pure and right, not only to guard against intrusive technology or wicked schemes, but more importantly, to obey the commands of Yahuwah.
Our goal should be to live as it's written in Tehillim 19:14. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing before you, O Yahuwah, my rock and my redeemer. This takes continual practice, but now is the time to make it a way of life. Let's keep our houses in order and prepare for our deliverance. When we seek the things of the Shamayim, we will begin to change the way that we act and think on the earth. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you've had any experiences like the one we mentioned, feel free to share. We love you and are praying for you. Until next time, family. Shalom.